Hi, how you doing today? I'm just working on this table topper, putting the border on for my sister Karen with my wonderful Janome MemoryCraft 6500 Professional. Let me tell you a little bit about all the wonderful features of this machine. Let's take a look. It has variable speed control, which means I can go fast or slow. And let's take a look at some of the buttons. It has mode buttons. What does that mean? The mode button gives you the different stitches. Mode 1 is your utility stitches. Mode 2 is utility and quilting stitches. And mode 3 is utility and decorative stitches, including 7 buttonholes. Isn't that great? Now, over here we also have lettering, which means that this machine has lettering, 2 different styles in 2 different sizes. You can make your own quilt label, as you see, as I did here. I'm going to put this quilt label on the back of this table topper when I'm done. Now let's continue looking on. Oh, you see this memory in, memory recall button? That means that you can combine some stitches or lettering like I did and put it into memory so that you can stitch it out later as many times as you like. And the memory out, you can retrieve it at any time that you want it. Now, ooh, this one's different. This is a twin needle key. This reduces the stitch width automatically to prevent needle breakage. And this elongation key, that gives you the ability to elongate certain stitches up to 5 times without losing the stitch density. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. Now, you see this little bobbin key? That's an independent bobbin winding motor. And you could actually wind a bobbin while you're sewing. Now, I haven't done that because it scares me, but a lot of people have. And I know it's a wonderful thing to do. Now, look over here, and we have the retractable thread guide. That means that you could place it down or up. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's a little hole here that you can put an auxiliary spool pin too. Now, I like this retractable thread guide so high because there are 2 large spindles on the back of the machine where you can put those large cones of thread. And what does that mean? That means that you don't have to keep putting another spool of thread in every time you want to start sewing a project. It's a wonderful thing. Now, let's go down here and you'll see that it has the adjust the stitch width. This allows you to adjust the needle positions. Now, did you know that this machine has 71 needle positions? That's 35 to the left, 35 to the right, and do-si-do dead center. Now, this is the stitch length. This machine can go up to 5 millimeters in the stitch length. Now, you have the edit key. The edit key gives you the ability to edit program patterns. That means the stitch width, the stitch length, and elongation. Now, this one is the help key. That's question mark. But when it's in the edit mode, it will move the cursor over to the right. This button helps you to view alternative applications of certain stitches. And now I'm going to tell you all about this wonderful backlit LCD screen. All the information is on here about the stitch that we're going to do, the foot that you need, and the stitch width and stitch length, or as it's commonly known, the needle position. So let's take a look. Here it says we're in stitch number 1, and you can see that that's a straight stitch. It offers a suggestion of tension of 2 through 6. Now, I find that 4 works very well. We're going to talk about that in just another minute. It also recommends that you use presser foot A, which is an all-purpose A foot. It tells you your needle position is 3.5, and at this point, the stitch length is 2.2. Let's take a look at what happens when we want to make some adjustments. I'm going to go and adjust the needle position. If you just press this, you can see where the machine shows you that the actual needle is moving over to the right. Now, if we want to adjust the stitch length, we would press this button and watch and see how we can lengthen the stitch to our liking there. But you know, there's so much more to tell you about this wonderful 6500 professional Janome machine. And now I want to tell you about the tension regulating dial. This regulates the upper thread tension. Now you can select it as high as you want to go, but 4 usually works really well. Now another thing that's so important, especially to quilters or to garment construction, is the presser foot pressure. Now what does that mean? That means that you can adjust the presser foot pressure on the presser foot, the height of it. Now also we have the indicator here, which shows you where you can make it the least or the most. And why is that important? So that you can introduce high loft batting or you can introduce delicate fabric. And now I want to show you how it has the industrial high lift. You see how I lifted the presser foot? Now you can lift it even higher. Oh, look how much room you have there, so that you can introduce the high loft batting or bulkier fabrics. Isn't that just wonderful? But even more so, you know what I find that is so useful to me is you have 8.8 inches from the needle to the neck of the machine, the base here. That they call arm space. And there's 4.7 inches from the top to the bottom. So it's a little less than 9.5, but oh, isn't that plenty of room? And that's important when the quilt starts to grow and you want to pass it through there.